Hello and welcome back to another FPL video. Today we're going to take a look at some differentials that you could be looking at for your free hit team in game week 34. Obviously we're approaching the end of the season, which means you're either ahead in your mini league or you need to try and catch up with some people, and obviously differentials are going to be the best place to do that. Obviously by now people have activated their free hit chips and we have been able to see who people are choosing, who the popular picks are going to be, and today we're going to take a look and see who those popular picks are going to be and then pick 5 players out with those who could really be some good rank boosters this week. If you do enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more FPL content just like this, and let's jump straight into it. So what I did yesterday was basically scrolled through everything relating to free hits, whether that was free hit drafts or people's free hit team ideas, and found 150 different drafts from different Twitter users or X users, and put them all together to see what the template was going to look like. Now these are the top 5 players from those teams in each position, and that obviously tells us who are going to be the most popular picks and who we could potentially be looking at as some differentials. So obviously looking at this, you've got the likes of Mohamed Salah, who was in 149 of 150 teams, the likes of Alexander Isak, 146 out of 150. We are starting to see who the popular ones are going to be. Mainly Leno and Pope are the two main goalkeepers. In defence, Aït-Nouri and Sessegnon. Other than that, it's pretty spread out. Midfield, again, fairly template when it comes to the midfielders, with Salah, Barnes, Diaz, all very, very popular picks. And then up front, you're really just looking at Isak and Cunha. Obviously, we're not going to pick anyone from the top 5 list, so anyone that is going to be in this video isn't going to be included on this graphic on screen. We've got 5 more players, and let's take a look and see who it's going to be. So the first player we're going with is going to be Evanilson of Bournemouth. He is looking like a very, very solid pick with Man United at home in game week 34. Only picked in 22 of the 150 drafts that we looked at, and he is looking really, really nice. Of course, form has been fantastic with him. You can see down the bottom, the most recent 2 games, not really too great, but before that, game week 31, 13 points against West Ham, and then game week 30, picked up 8 against Ipswich, so he's been really, really good. He's second for XG in the last 5 matches amongst forwards, as you can see on the screen as well, and he's sitting in 7th as well throughout the course of the season, which isn't too bad either. He does have the most shots in the box of any forward in the last 8 games. He's actually had 19 shots of his 20 shots inside the box in his last 8 matches, so obviously really, really nice. That's exactly what you want from your forwards. Behind him you've got Wissa with 17 shots in the box, Marmoush with 15 shots in the box, so he is clear at the top with 2 extra shots in the box amongst any other forwards, and he also has the most chances, the most big chances in the last 6 game weeks amongst forwards as well, so he's looking like a really, really good pick. Man United aren't exactly the best defence either. Obviously they're having a really poor season. I do think that Evanilson is someone that could be a big, big player in this match. Of course the home fixture is going to be beneficial as well, and if he picks up 1 or 2 goals, you're looking like a great, great differential for game week 34. Next we're going for Mitoma from Brighton. I think he could be a big differential because I don't think he's going to be too much owned at all in game week 34 due to the fact that his form hasn't been too great in recent weeks. He obviously picked up a nice 6 points in the most recent match against Brentford where he did come off the bench, but before that it's a lot of inconsistencies, a lot of 0, 1 and 2 pointers. However, my reason for putting him in this video is the fact that West Ham have the weakest right side in the Premier League so far this season. They have conceded 121 chances down that side, which is more than any other team in the Premier League. Now obviously you do have to rely on Mitoma starting in this match. If not, it is probably going to be Adingra, and if Adingra is going to be the one starting, then he would be the one in this video. So if you can see some predicted lineups and stuff before the deadline, and Mitoma is in there or Adingra, I would be potentially looking at whichever one of those is most likely to start, which at this moment in time is Mitoma. Now obviously due to his recent form and inconsistencies, it is always going to be a big risk when picking him for your team, but that's kind of the whole point in differentials. You want to go for players who aren't highly owned, who aren't expected to do well by the vast majority of the game, and finding those kind of weaknesses in some teams that could make them a really nice option, which is, we've seen Estupinian in recent seasons, doing quite well. Hasn't really done it this season, but he also obviously plays off the left for Brighton. He could be another differential pick that you do go go for. But again, Brighton are still expected to do really well against West Ham this week. They are the third highest for predicted goals. They are expected to score at least 2 goals in this match against West Ham, which is only below Newcastle and Liverpool. And I imagine, you've stacked up quite heavily on both those teams already. Again, looking at his overall stats this season, 13th for expected goal involvements, which isn't actually as bad as you would have thought. I don't think anyone's really considered Mitoma at all this season. He's not really been in and about it. And of course, the last 5 game weeks, 29th for expected goal involvement. So he's not really showing promise when it comes to these stats. So as I said, it is always going to be a big gamble. But West Ham having the weakest right side in the Premier League, I definitely think there's promise for him to do well. Next, I'm going for Virgil van Dijk, and he's basically one to go head-to-head with people who pick Trent Alexander-Arnold. Of course, he came off the bench and scored in Liverpool's most recent match, but I do think his minutes are still a little bit, up in the air. I think Bradley could easily come on as a sub. Trent isn't likely to play the full match, and Van Dijk could be a really nice alternative to the Liverpool defence. My main reason for having him in here is the fact that Spurs have conceded the most shots from set pieces in the last 10 matches. Looking at it more specifically, Spurs have conceded 17 shots from set pieces in their last 10 games, which is joint top with Fulham. West Ham are sitting at 16, and then it is Crystal Palace on 11. So those 3 teams, Spurs, Fulham and West Ham, have been very poor when it comes to defending set pieces in the last 10 matches. Obviously, Van Dijk is a huge threat from corners, and I think he could be a really, really big differential. Obviously, it's title day for Liverpool. If they win, they most likely go on to win the title. So they are, of course, all going to be up for it, and if anything's going to be written, it's going to be the captain picking up a header and a goal on title day. So, again, like I said, it's going to be a big differential. It's going to be a big gamble. I don't think you have to rely on Van Dijk scoring in that match. But, Liverpool are still sitting there with a 38% chance of a clean sheet, which is the 4th highest this week. So a nice chance there, of course, playing at home. And as well, Van Dijk has also picked up bonus points in 3 of his last 4 matches. So he's been a bit of a bonus points magnet in recent game weeks. So if they pick up a clean sheet, chances are he picks up bonus if Liverpool don't go and score a ton of goals with the attackers. And I think there's a decent chance that he could get a goal in there as well, with Spurs being so weak from set pieces. Next, we've got a Newcastle defender, which I imagine most people are going to have this week. I think Trippier is going to be popular. I think Schär is going to be popular. But I really do like the look of Tino Livramento. He was only in 20 of the 150 drafts that I looked at. And again, comparing him to Trippier, who looks like the most popular option, I think he just looks a bit better. His stats in recent weeks have been better. He plays more minutes than Trippier does. Trippier obviously very injury prone. Livramento has played 90 minutes in each of the last 5 matches, so a really, really good one if you're waiting for an attack and return. Obviously, if you've got Trippier, it is a little bit more beneficial if you can get subbed on a clean sheet. It banks it early on, but when it comes to, getting those extra points from attack and returns, you obviously want as many minutes as possible. On those attack and returns, Ipswich actually have a weaker right side than they do on the left, which does obviously favour Livramento, who plays as a left back. They've actually conceded 117 chances down Livramento's side, but they've only conceded 101 down Trippier. So not a huge, difference, but 16 chances can make all the difference when it comes to picking up that extra assist somewhere down the line. And Livramento is backed by his expected assists in recent games, as he's sitting in second for defenders in their last 10 matches. So a really, really good pick, I think. And again, if you're struggling for budget on a free hit, somehow I think it is quite difficult too, but if you are, he's looking like a really good alternative to Trippier. Again, you're getting minutes out of him. He does look a little bit better when it comes to, positionally against Ipswich. His stats are just looking that little bit better in recent weeks. Newcastle are sitting top for clean sheet odds as well this week, with a 46% chance of a clean sheet. So a Newcastle defender is looking really, really nice, along with maybe 2 attackers in there as well. So I definitely would be considering Livramento over the likes of Trippier or Schär if you want to go differential this week. And finally, we're ending it on Bruno Fernandes, someone who has been, very consistent over the course of the season, but hasn't really hit the form that he did 5-6 weeks ago in his more recent matches. You know, only 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, and 2 points in his last 4 games. But before that, obviously, we know he was on fire, and basically everyone was bringing him into their team. But he's looking like a really decent option this week playing against Bournemouth. He is the only player on here that is playing away from home, but Bournemouth don't exactly have the best home record in recent weeks. They've only won 1 of their last 7 home matches, a couple of draws in there, but quite a few losses as well. So I would expect Man United to do fairly decently, whether that's picking up a goal or 2. And if they do pick up a goal or 2, the chances are that Bruno Fernandes is going to be involved in that, because he has been involved in 50% of all of Man United's goals so far this season. They've scored 38 in the Premier League, and he has, you know, been directly involved, whether that's a goal or an assist, in 19 of those. So he's been a big part, of course, with Man United's attack. Obviously takes the penalties as well, and he's got more key passes than anyone else in the Premier League in the last 5 matches. He got 17 key passes in his last 5. In second place it's Luis Diaz, joint with Enzo Fernandez, and then you've got Mbeumo with 13 as well. So he's right at the top of that list. I think Bournemouth could struggle as well this week, obviously not having the best home record in the last few games, and Bruno has been very consistent when it comes to points and picking up attacking returns for Manchester United so far this season. So that is going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like on it, make sure to subscribe as well, and my team selection and captaincy videos will follow this later on in the week, so make sure to turn on notifications so you know exactly when those come out. Let me know if you know any other differentials that you could be contemplating for game week 34, and I'll see you all in the next video.